I'm a huge fan of the Witcher universe. I've played all the games, every spin-off, then I read the books, so I was obviously excited for the show. I actually liked the first 2 seasons, they are far from perfect, but they were watchable, in my opinion. Then came season 3, and that Blood Origin spin-off, which totally killed my hype. Add Henry Cavill leaving the show, and you've got this season 4 that dropped on October 30th, 2025. All 8 episodes released a few days ago, so I'm going to talk with spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, maybe come back later, or if you have or don't plan to watch it, stick around. Overall, I found season 4 The Witcher average. Some things worked, others really don't, but I didn't have a terrible time watching it. Unlike the last season, it's a bit more faithful to the books than season 3, maybe even more than season 2, though yeah, there's still plenty of creative liberty. Season 4 adapts Baptism of Fire by Andrzej Sapkowski and acts as a mid-season leading to season 5, which will be the final one they just wrapped filming. And that right there is already a big problem. The series was originally planned for 7 seasons, enough to cover all the books, which were 8 at the time. But as you probably know, the show didn't get the critical reception Netflix hoped for, and rightly so. So now, to wrap up the whole story in 8 episodes, they'll have to adapt Lady of the Lake, which is a long, dense book full of key moments, plus Season of Storms. I am really worried for that last season. Are they going to end on a cliffhanger? Or just rush through the story and cut half of it? Or maybe just make up their own ending, since they have already taken plenty of creative liberties that will make book fans lose their minds again. We are far from the promises of season 1, when they said they'd make a faithful adaptation. That didn't last long. But honestly, I don't mind if an adaptation takes liberties, as long as it's good. And here, that's not exactly the case. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Geralt. Henry Cavill decided to leave after season 3, reportedly due to creative differences, which, yeah, makes sense. And when he left, a big chunk of the audience left with him. So for seasons 4 and 5, they recast Geralt with Hemsworth. And he actually does a decent job. Yeah, I know, you expected me to roast him, but honestly, his voice fits the character well, and I got used to him pretty fast. So they reshot a bunch of scenes with Liam in the intro of episode 1, including the Kikimor fight from season 1. Honestly, that felt kind of petty from the writers. Of course, he's not as charismatic as Henry Cavill, but he's helped by the fact that there are so many side plots and characters this season that Geralt's importance gets diluted. The show is divided into 3 major arcs. First, Geralt's arc, which is basically about fighting Ciri. Again, shocking. The main theme here is him regaining his humanity and admitting that he is her father. A few scenes are actually touching. I'm thinking about the flashback with Ciri at Kaer Morhen, or the more human interactions during his journey. The short story about the girl he saved was pretty well done too. There was also a tons of references to his change, even physically, and yeah, the writers were very subtle about that. That's sarcasm. Then we have Yennefer's arc, where she goes after Vilgefortz with the help of the sorceresses. Once again, Yennefer gets put at the center of a plot that's much less developed in the books, but I get it, probably contractual reasons. Anya Chalotra's performance is solid, I have 0 issues with her as an actress, more with how she's written, but we'll get back to that. And finally, Ciri's arc, or rather Falca's, with the infamous Reds group. For me, this was the weakest part of the season. I never managed to care about the characters, they are slightly more tolerable than in the books, but still badly handled. Oh, and you might have missed it, since even Netflix and The Witcher's official account didn't really promote it, but a movie about the rats released the same day as season 4. It was originally planned as a series, but they condensed it into a TV movie. Yeah, not a great sign. Maybe Blood Origin's reception scared them off. I haven't watched it yet, but I might review it later, let me know if you're interested. So Ciri starts embracing her darker side, mirroring Falca's teenage rebellion. She kills random people, starts acting strangely, and does drugs. Yeah, nothing incredible. There are tons of characters this season, and some work, some don't. Geralt is still with Jaskier, who's pretty low-key this time. He still gets his funny scenes, sometimes bordering on cringe. That musical sequence felt way too long, even if there is a bit of foreshadowing from the books. He also has a scene with Radovid that's completely pointless, except to make Radovid seem slightly more evil. Milva is an interesting addition, though watching her fight hand-to-hand with a bow is painful. Her bond with Kaer is nice though. He also joins the group later on. Most of Geralt's companions get some decent development in episode 5 during that campfire scene where they all share their stories. Zoltan is a newcomer, gets a few nice moments. They actually kept his parrot. I was really happy about that. Yorpen is back, Percival is there too, and the real highlight of the group is Regis. He is one of the best additions this season, the other one we'll talk about in the Rats arc. Lawrence Fishburne absolutely steals every scene every time he's on screen. He commands attention. He's in a different league of charisma, and you can tell he really respected the character. And that animated origin story sequence was super cool. On Yennefer's side, the sorceresses are less complex than before. Philippa, a character I really liked in the last season, especially her interactions with Dijkstra, feels much flatter here. Dijkstra himself doesn't have much to do, apart from one interrogation scene with Geralt and getting fired by a blunt Radovid. The sorceress still gets her badass moments, but she's been sanded down into a generic fight evil protagonist. Same with Francesca, she goes from doesn't want anything to do with Yen to joining the group in one episode. Fringilla ends up having a slightly larger role than other sorceresses. She joins Vilgefortz after being contacted by Yen earlier, and we later find out that she was actually spying on him, but she quickly gets caught and imprisoned by the mage. Speaking of Vilgefortz, he is still the main villain in this season. I actually think the actor does a great job, even though that ridiculous eye in the first few episodes doesn't help at all. Luckily, he gets rid of it pretty quickly. Not much else to say about his character, other than, yeah, he's just evil. Triss barely appears, though the actress is solid, and Sabrina, well, she exists. As I said earlier, Ciri's arc didn't do much for me. Missile stands out a little from the group. She is Ciri's short-lived love interest. And since the rats all die in the final episode, I really don't get why we should even watch the movie after that. It's with Yen's storyline that we got most of the deaths this season, and they are ridiculous. Keira Metz, yeah, the same one from The Witcher 3, dies in a random villager riot in episode 1. The actress was probably thrilled to come back for 3 lines. The other sorceresses move on instantly. Episode 6 gives us the big battle at Montecalvo, where the sorceresses fight Vilgefortz's army under a reign of mediocre CGI. Margarita dies, I guess we're supposed to be sad. Istred, yeah, the guy who had like 3 lines in the books, sacrificed himself to destroy Vilgefortz's portal blocker. And there is Vesemir, who has been recast again, and is played by Peter Mullan. We don't really get enough time to see the actor shine, because he gets killed by Vilgefortz right in front of Yennefer. And when she tells Geralt in the next episode, he barely reacts. No funeral, no grief, nothing, they just hook up. Yeah, I'm not kidding. She even casually mentions Istred's death before Vesemir's. Between this and Eskel's death in season 2, the Caer crew really got done dirty. Also, I noticed Vesemir doesn't even have yellow eyes anymore. It's like the director just stopped caring. Oh, and the Mage Ronin from season 1 makes a return too, if you remember him. On the Nilfgaard side, we've got the Emperor Emir trying to marry his supposed daughter. It doesn't evolve much, but we do get a newcomer, Stefan Skellen. This one tries to betray the Emperor, but fails miserably. He also hires a witcher named Leo Bonhart to hunt down the real Ciri. And honestly, Leo is the best new addition to the show. The actor Sholto Copley absolutely owns his scenes, a bit over the top, sure, but it works. And when he kills the rats at the end of the season, I was honestly kind of happy. He's just that badass. The short fight with Ciri is really cool too, and I can't wait to see what they do with him in the final season. The character of Queen Meve is well done, and the moment where she knights Geralt in the final episode works really well. The season also juggles the war between Nilfgaard and the Northern Kingdoms, but it's mostly there to justify yet another generic battle scene. Monster fights are also way worse this time. The Wraith encounter in episode 2 is really forgettable. The infected Greylock Ciri faces looks straight out of a PS3 cutscene, and that giant on the bridge in the final is ridiculous. The only one I actually liked was the lake fight, because it helped Geralt evolve and accept his role as a father. It's the kind of fight that really works in The Witcher, and that essence is something the show has completely lost. The writing at times is really rough. For instance, Vilgefortz uses a spell so no one can say his name or they'll die. Then Fringilla literally says it while imprisoned, and no consequence. And 5 minutes later, she is freed because the cards randomly decide to move or sell. Peak writing. Also, the sorceress is preparing to sword fight Vilgefort's army instead of using magic? Come on. And don't get me started on Radovid. Still terribly written. There is also Yennefer killing a guard with a pickaxe like she's holding a spoon. What even was that? Oh, and yeah, after defeating Vilgefortz, who literally saw Yennefer's thoughts and hinted he was going to kill Ciri, they just let him go. Once again, brilliant writing. Visually it's okay, but not much more. The cinematography feels flat, CGI is often bad, and a lot of shots just look empty. And here's the thing, this season alone cost $221 million. That's the same range as House of the Dragon. Where did the money go? It's honestly depressing. As a fan of the universe, it sucks to see such a wasted opportunity. The show ends up being just another forgettable fantasy series when it had everything to be greater. Meanwhile, the story is narrated by a villager telling Geralt's tale to a girl named Nimue. We see her again in episode 8, Order, as she's leaving to study at Aretuza. She also mentions Angouleme, who's supposed to appear in the final season. Once again, I'm both excited and terrified to see how they adapt the ending. A quick word on the music. I got a few nice callbacks to Geralt's theme, but other than that, nothing really stands out. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about The Witcher Season 4. I wasn't expecting anything from the show, and it's not that bad. I'd even say it's enjoyable at times, but it's definitely not amazing either. Of course, that's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's totally fine. We are all different, and that's great. So before you insult me in the comments, maybe drop a like instead. Tell me what you thought of the season. I'd love to hear your take down there. And yeah, have a great day or night, and I'll see you in the next one.